Welcome to Everything Pro Wrestling. Everything Pro Wrestling is a show by the fans, for the fans. And here's your host, Conrad Cushman.
And last night we had one more match added to the WWE Stomping Ground show. And before we get into an ad from our friends at Everything College Basketball, I want to give my quick thoughts on the Cruiserweight Triple Threat match. We are going to have a Triple Threat match for the Cruiserweight Championship with the champion Tony Nese versus Akira Tozawa and Drew Gulak. If it were up to me, I feel like we need a title switch. And Drew Gulak seems like the perfect candidate to do that with. He's worked really hard. He's done stuff with lots of talent. I say you give him a little bit of a run with the belt here. And maybe Tony Nese could win it back within a couple months. But let's see what Drew Gulak could do. He's put over Kushida. He's put over a lot of guys. I don't know if he's seen as someone who is a winner per se. But he's definitely someone who's a future coach down at the PC, I feel. Depending on how well and how long he wants to continue wrestling for. So that's what I think of the Cruiserweight title match. And I predict that this will be the Kickoff show match, unfortunately. I really wish they gave the guys on 205 Live more chances on the roster, but we'll see what happens with it. But let's get into an ad from our friends at Everything College Basketball.
Everything Pro Wrestling, it's your boys from the Everything College Basketball podcast and Facebook group. I'm Josh Burton, letting you all know that if you like the college game, that there's only one spot to come find all you need to know.
Yep, Josh, Peyton, and myself, Tyler. We are the three voices of ECB podcast and Facebook group. Peyton, tell them where they can find us and listen to us at.
Well, Tyler, you can find us on Anchor, Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, and all other podcast hosting sites. Also, go join our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups like Everything College Basketball.
So if you want everything you need to know about the collegiate game or have a passion for it, there's only one spot that you need to check out on a weekly basis or a daily basis with the Facebook group. That's Everything College Basketball. Now let's get back to Conrad informing you on everything pro wrestling and the workings around it.
Brother.
Welcome. This is Marty the Moth Casals from Lucha Underground and more. And you're watching Conrad Cushman and Everything Pro Wrestling. It's going to be fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Everything Pro Wrestling. Everything Pro Wrestling is a show by the fans, for the fans. I am your host, Conrad Cushman, and we are here today with a preview of WWE Stomping Grounds. Now, before we get into the show, I wanted to let you guys know that we just went over 10,000 listens on the podcast. That is tremendous work. So hats off to you guys for listening to this show that many times. I greatly appreciate it. It couldn't have been done without you guys. I'm going to keep working hard to try and keep this podcast going separately. I am also on Brainbuster Radio every Saturday. And this Saturday, I have an excellent interview lined up with Montese of the Swerve City podcast. That is the podcast with Shane Strickland, a.k.a. Isaiah Swerve Scott now. You guys do not want to miss that episode. We have some really good conversation in there. So make sure you guys are subscribed to Brainbuster Radio and check me out this Saturday. Now, this WWE Stomping Ground show, I talked about this on my Monday Night Raw review on YouTube. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. We tried to bring up everything that's been going on with WWE Stomping Grounds as far as ticket sales. How are the ticket sales doing? And they were selling tickets 2 for 1, and I believe it's due to lack of a good product. They haven't been doing good things for quite some time, and now it's starting to hurt the attendance at the pay-per-view shows. There's something that they're going to have to look into and try to figure out how to put on better programming if they want to solve that problem, in my opinion. This show, though, it's hurting. I think that a lot of attention being put on the whole WWE Super Showdown, it really, really hurt what they were trying to do. So, yeah, it's not the greatest thing in the world. They're going to have to come up with something better The pay-per-view's this Sunday, June 23rd, starts at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm sure there's a pre-show that starts at 6 o'clock or whatever. I'll do my best to cover all of it and be up to date with you guys. My plan is to put up a review this Sunday after the show, so make sure you guys are subscribed to the YouTube channel once again, and you guys will not miss out on that review. We have great conversations in there with everybody from Everything Pro Wrestling. All right. This show is taking place in the Tacoma Dome in Tacoma, Washington, another famous city where they had a big blunder when they tried to do a WCW show years ago and wondered why it didn't work when they could have done it in Atlanta later. Maybe it was the previous week, but they could have did the show in Atlanta and they did it in Tacoma, Washington with Buff Bagwell, Booker T. Look it up if you guys don't know that atrocity. So this is replacing the Backlash pay-per-view. We've got a lot of things happening in here, but we're going to go through this card piece by piece. This is not going to be a long podcast, more than likely. We're going to kind of go over some of the matches, and then give some predictions, and then we're going to get out of here, guys. First and foremost, we start with the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Championship match. This match was just made. I'm recording this a little bit after SmackDown goes off the air. We have Daniel Bryan and Erick Rowan versus Heavy Machinery. Heavy Machinery getting their big break into the tag team scene. They've been booking them against some local competitors. They beat the B team. Is Heavy Machinery ready to be the SmackDown Live Tag Team Champions? Here's my thoughts on all of this. I feel like the roster is becoming one. They're getting rid of all of this brand split stuff. They couldn't adhere to it. Like I said years ago on the YouTube show, look in the archives for it with me and Casey Briggs. We talked about this previously, and I really feel like they're going to have to try to start unifying some of these belts, especially the tag titles, where you have double sets of those. You cannot have 2 sets of tag championships. Actually, technically, you have 3 with the women's tag. It's just not going to work. So the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Championships will be on the line. Daniel Bryan and Erick Rowan, they really haven't been around. Daniel Bryan had a really good match with Seth Rollins on Raw. And let me say this too while I'm in this spot. Monday Night Raw was not bad this week. It was actually decent and better than the past few weeks. The problem is that people were saying it was a really good show. I don't know if it was really good. I feel like it was okay. Like, it's still 3 hours long. There were still things to nitpick about it. But you know what? It was watchable for once versus me being bored to death or sleepy and everything else that happened. So props to Raw. So people who say I never give the props to Monday Night Raw, there it is. SmackDown tag title match. Daniel Bryan, Erick Rowan. They really haven't been doing too much here. They've kind of just been in a weird state of not doing anything. Heavy Machinery's picked up some wins. I feel like to unify the belts, you're going to have the strongest tag team champions hold them. And I feel like that's Daniel Bryan and Erick Rowan. Good to see Heavy Machinery get some TV time, and I'm pretty sure they're going to put on a good match. No one better to learn from than Daniel Bryan and Erick Rowan, a successful big man in the Wyatt family. I see some good things here for the Planet's tag team champions. So give me Daniel Bryan and Erick Rowan for the win in this one. Next, we have another tag match. We have Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus The New Day, Xavier Woods and Big E. This is all leading up to this big feud that started between New Day, and I think they're trying to resolve it. Sami Zayn has kind of been getting crapped on since he left his gimmick from that week with the electric chair segment with Corey Graves. Sami Zayn's just been eating pinfalls. I've seen him eat the Trouble in Paradise like a dozen times, I feel like, at this point. Tiring. Seeing with Kevin Owens is tiring. Not saying that I don't want him to be a heel. I just want him and Owens to separate and let each other breathe for a little bit. Xavier Woods and Big E are doing the things. They are doing the noble cause for Kofi. I feel like Xavier Woods and Big E are in a good spot no matter what. So for me here, I'm going to say that we give the win to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, but it would not surprise me at all if WWE gives it to Xavier and Big E because they're trying to punish Sami and Kevin Owens is just being lumped in by association. Next, we have for the United States Championship, we have Samoa Joe versus Ricochet. This is going to be a tough one to call here. Samoa Joe is one of my favorites, and I also like Ricochet. Samoa Joe is the current United States champion. He received the title after Rey Mysterio had to relinquish it. Rey Mysterio should be back within a few weeks, though. And Ricochet became number one contender in a fatal five-way match this Monday on Raw. Ricochet's got the amazing moveset. I think Samoa Joe, with his power game, is going to be able to complement Ricochet, and he can kind of work that style as well. This match would have been something to see, I want to say, a few years ago. Imagine Ricochet today versus Samoa Joe back in TNA. Amazing that would have been. But I still think they're going to do well here because Samoa Joe still got it. And the United States Championship's on the line. I feel like there's a story, though, with Samoa Joe and Rey Mysterio that's not finished. And I know the people who always see me do my reviews are laughing because they're like, you just want him to choke out Dominic. Yeah, that's true. So I want this feud to continue with Rey Mysterio and Samoa Joe. I feel like this could be considered a placeholder. So maybe you do some kind of weird finish to where Samoa Joe picks up the win on Ricochet. Maybe someone costs Ricochet the match and starts another feud with Ricochet. Don't see why that can't happen, but I'm going to go with Samoa Joe to retain here. And we will see this continue with him and Rey Mysterio. Next up, we have the WWE SmackDown Women's Champion, Bayley, defending her title against Alexa Bliss with Nikki Cross in her corner. So Bayley cashed in Money in the Bank, pinned Charlotte, became the women's champ. Bayley is getting booed, and I don't know what's up with that. A lot of wrestling fans are just not fans of Bayley. I don't know what's the deal. If you guys know why you dislike Bayley, please tell me. Reach out to me on Twitter at EPW Show. All that stuff's going to be in the description box in the link tree. I don't know. I have no clue why Bayley is getting booed. She didn't do anything wrong. I think they're lumping her in with the Sasha Banks stuff, and she's kind of been getting a negative reaction since then. Alexa Bliss. This is weird, man. So Alexa Bliss is in this weird spot. I feel like she hasn't done much, and she's the number one contender for a title again. I thought Alexa Bliss was hurt, and she couldn't wrestle in Money in the Bank. Lots of weird stuff going on with that for a little bit, but it seems like Alexa Bliss is back. They're running with this Kofi angle with her, and she told Nikki that she cost her the belts, which technically Bayley did cost Nikki Cross the belts. This is tough, man. This is tough. I feel like Nikki Cross is going to get involved and somehow ruin this for Alexa Bliss, so I predict Bayley will retain the SmackDown Live Women's Championship, belly to Bayley, pins Bliss. Cross maybe interferes afterwards, helps her attack her, and maybe the boss, Sasha Banks, comes out to make the save. If Sasha's coming back, be good to see Sasha Banks back around. I think within the next couple months, we're going to see what's really going on with Sasha. Is she really out? Is she doing something for the WWE 2K20 video game? We'll see. But my prediction for this one is Bayley. Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre is the match I have up next. I feel like Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre have this chemistry that a lot of people have not seen. I feel like they will put on a good match if you give them the time and let them tell the right story. At WrestleMania, I feel like they didn't have enough time. At Super Showdown, he went in there with Shane. They kind of did the screwy finish. And I don't understand the hate for Roman Reigns besides maybe he's appearing on every show. But Shane's doing the same thing. And you can actually say the same thing with Drew right now. Digging that kind of crew that Shane's having with Drew, the Revival. I like that. I just don't want Shane to be the main wrestling focus point of it. Let Shane kind of be the guy in the background to bring these guys up. And maybe you put one more guy in that group. Drew, the Revival, and someone else. I guess technically Elias is with them. You could do some stuff there, man. I like it. So Roman Reigns is going to be in this match. Roman got the win at WrestleMania. He lost at the Super Showdown show against Shane. How does this play out? with logic telling me on Monday Roman Reigns looking dominant, I feel like Drew should get the win here. Drew McIntyre really could use the win. Last we saw him, he got put out through a table with lobster and shrimp on it, and Roman went in the ring and beat up Shane. I feel like maybe they played the numbers game with the Revival coming out to help. Shane McMahon eats Superman punches, and then Drew finally catches him with that Claymore kick. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go with Drew McIntyre to get the win here over Roman Reigns. Yeah, I can't. It's weird, man. A lot of people, Roman Reigns has not been winning a lot of matches, and I'm going to have to roll with that for the predictions. But either way, I really think that this will be a good match between the two of them. Next, the Raw Women's Championship match. We have Becky Lynch defending her title against Lacey Evans. Once again from Monday Night Raw, Lacey Evans did some of her best promo work on there. Stumbled a little bit, but she did all right, and I was impressed with what she did on the mic. Becky Lynch, she's a great character. I really feel like Becky Lynch is going to keep that Raw Women's title. Big prediction time, guys. Becky Lynch will be on the cover of WWE 2K20. Not really that big. I could have told you that after 2K19 came out last year with AJ on the cover. I feel like Becky Lynch is going to be the focal point for that game, so they're going to keep the title on her for now, at least for the next coming months until they show the cover of the game and everything else. I just don't think it's Lacey Evans' time to carry the belt. So give me Becky Lynch for the dub here, and I think we're going to see a really heck of a match, but I think we'll see an improvement from the last one, but Becky Lynch for the win here. We have a steel cage match for the WWE Championship. We have Kofi Kingston versus Dolph Ziggler. At Super Showdown, this match disappointed me a little bit. If you go back and find their matches for the United States title, the Intercontinental title, hell, regular matches on SmackDown, when these two go out and wrestle, they can do their thing. But they need the time to go out there and do it. So I say you let them go out there and have a match. Let them do their thing. Kofi Kingston's winning this, though. I do not care about Dolph Ziggler. As bad as that may sound, they beat him to death. They made him lose. He lost way too many matches. He is, I don't know, he could win 5 matches now, and I still wouldn't care because I'm like, they're just going to beat him in the end. So what does it matter? And it's a bad place to be with Dolph because I actually think Dolph Ziggler is very talented and he's a good wrestler. I just want Dolph to maybe go to New Japan or go to Impact, go somewhere else and apply your craft. I just want to see you in a different light. But Dolph Ziggler seems to be happy where he is doing his comedy shows. And I'm pretty sure he doesn't have a problem putting over Kofi Kingston here because Dolph Ziggler seems like he's like a part-time upper mid-card guy and he's happy with his role. So give me Kofi Kingston for the win in this cage match. Hopefully we get a crazy spot out of it too. Maybe Kofi jumping off the top of the cage. And for the main event, for the WWE Universal Championship, we have the champion Seth Rollins defending his title against Baron Corbin. How did we get to this point? Baron Corbin does not trust the referees, so he has requested that him and management get together to figure out who could be a referee suitable for this match. Well, the management that is so smart is going to allow Baron Corbin to pick a special guest referee. Rollins has attacked every single person from Elias to Eric Young, the B team, EC3. I almost said E3, EC3. And he has been attacking everybody who puts on a referee shirt to help Baron Corbin. So Rollins is trying to avoid that at all costs. I feel like either Baron Corbin's going to have to pick someone who's a babyface and hopes that they're impartial, or he's going to come up with something really slick at the last second. But in my heart of hearts, I do not believe that anything like that is going to happen. It wouldn't surprise me if it's like Paul Heyman, and then you have Brock cash in. Heyman counts the 3 count for him really quick, and you kind of do a screw job finish. You have that option. You have a bunch of different things you could do with this. But give me Rollins to win this match. And do I predict a cash in here? You know what? I'm going to run with that theory I said. I'm going to go with Paul Heyman will be the guest referee. So we'll add that on for some bonus points. And if Paul Heyman is the guest referee, I will predict that Brock Lesnar cashes in his briefcase and Seth Rollins loses the Universal title if a cash-in occurs. But that's my thoughts on the show. This show could deliver. This could be a really good show at the same time. I don't want people to just think like, oh, this is going to be bad and they have nothing else that they can do for it. Not at all. They have a lot of potential with this, but WWE is going to have to put on a show and make people regret not coming to this. That's why I think a cash-in makes sense. They have so many things that they have going on. We'll see what happens. I'm really hoping for a good show. I know this week's edition of the podcast was short, and next week when we come back, we're going to be talking about all the shows coming up. The AEW show. We have Fighter Fest. We have so many things coming up with AEW, Ring of Honor. It's going to be good stuff, guys. Trust me. So make sure you guys are tuned into the podcast, clicking subscribe. Check out the link tree. Follow me on Twitter at EPW Show. We are gaining steam. We are almost at 2,000 followers. So make sure you guys are with us on there. Join up. Give us a follow. YouTube channel. We're at 400. The goal is 500 subscribers, guys. If you have friends, if you have family, tell them to subscribe to Everything Pro Wrestling. If you know someone who likes pro wrestling, just tell them, go on there, help my boy Conrad out, subscribe to his channel. You won't regret it. We talk some pro wrestling. I'll read their comments, and I want to hear from them. So let them know that Conrad Cushman, Everything Pro Wrestling needs the subscription. And we are on the road to SummerSlam. I will be in Toronto for SummerSlam. Shout out to the NBA champs, the Toronto Raptors. I will be in Toronto for SummerSlam and NXT TakeOver. I can't wait. Things are looking really good for that event. Hopefully, I'll be able to produce a show for you guys. If not, I will probably end up doing a podcast via a phone, a tablet. Some way, somehow, I will do a show for you guys and get it out to you, giving you my thoughts on the show. With that being said, guys, thank you for listening to Everything Pro Wrestling. Everything Pro Wrestling is a show by the fans, for the fans, and we are out. Thank you so much for getting me to 10K, peeps. Let the music ride out. Deuces.